the flag burners who have got too much freedom. I want to make it legal for policemen to beat 'em. All right, well, let's do one last video for the week. I hope you had a good week. I had a great week, and it's been crazy, but it's been awesome at the same time. I hope you're enjoying it. One thing I think this Biden presidency is going to be is obviously there's in many ways it's going to make our lives a lot more difficult, but at least along the way there will be a lot of comedy. We got the president starting his new office of the former president of the United States, and then we've got this GameStop situation that's happening. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hilarity to be had throughout the whole year, I'm thinking. So hopefully we can navigate sort of the choppy waters that are coming ahead and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to say that if you have any ideas for me for a video, something that you'd find helpful or anything like that, please go ahead and contact me. I'd be glad to consider your idea. And also, I've had a number of new patrons starting this week. And so thank you. If you decided to become a patron of mine, thank you very much. I'm going to post on my Patreon account. We're going to do another Q&A. I almost said quality assurance. It is Q&A, but, quality assurance video. Whatever. But anyway, but yeah, also Gab. I love Gab. I really do. It's a very good platform, very similar to Twitter. It's got some other features that Twitter didn't have, like groups and things like that are coming along. And of course, I've got the Gab TV channel. So I'm all about it. You can find me on Gab at 80 Robles. I hope to see you there. It should be a whole lot of fun. Let me just say this. All the stuff that's happening, we've got the fake election, and then we've got the fake stock market that's being revealed by these Redditors that are just crushing this hedge fund right now. Now, the hedge fund has access to unlimited money. Let's just be honest about that. But it's nice to see them being crushed in the short term here by a bunch of normies, a bunch of retail investors, people that just have a Robinhood account and all that kind of stuff. But what's good about this is even when it eventually ends, because it probably will, unless you hold the line, of course, it'll reveal what we all kind of know, is that this is a kind of a rigged game here. I mean, we've got a broker that's telling you can't buy a certain stock anymore because their hedge fund buddies are just losing money hand over fist, and they just say, okay, that's enough of that, don't buy the stock anymore. I saw some reports of people being forced to sell the stock without asking to do it. I don't know if that's true or not, but it wouldn't be that surprising. It's all done, and this is what I wanted to do the video about. All of the oversteps of authority, all of the abuses, all of the horrible things that are coming our way from the state, they're not going to be done in the name of screw you guys, we hate you. It's not going to be like that. It's going to say this is for your own good. You don't know the risk. You don't know any better. We know better. This is for your own good. We're going to take care of this for you. And then they're going to let you not be able to trade GameStop anymore because it's for your own good, to protect your own portfolio. And it's like every time they overstep their bounds, it's going to be in the name of public safety or public health or financial consumer protection. They're not going to tell you they're screwing you over. They're going to say this is for your protection. That's how it always works. That's how it's working with this COVID thing. Yeah, they're crushing your businesses. They're crushing Main Street in favor of Target and Walmart and stuff like that, and Amazon and all that. But it's for your own protection, though. Like, I know your business is totally hosed, but it's for your own protection. You see, that's how it's going to work. The Equality Act, I mean, we're going to get a lot of Christians that'll go along with the Equality Act because the government says it's for your own protection. I mean, it's about equality and equity and all those good things. We're going to probably have a lot of big names that'll come out in favor of the Equality Act, even as it crushes churches all around them. You see, I think one of the things I noticed on Twitter before I left it was that a lot of people were like, you're just trying to be a victim, Adam. You're just trying to have a persecution complex. And it's like there's two things going on with people that say that kind of stuff. The first thing is they know they'll never be persecuted because they'll just change what they believe. They are willing to just stay quiet when daddy gives them the backhand. You know what I mean? They're just willing to go ahead and just cave instantly. They're willing to get back in the stable when daddy tells them to. And so a guy like Russell Moore, he'll bend and bend and bend and bend. It doesn't matter. He'll bow to the state. You know, a guy like Jonathan Lehman, it's never going to be time to cash in that cultural capital. You always got to get a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So they're not worried about getting kicked off Twitter because they'll just play by the rules. They don't care about that kind of stuff. They're not worried about being deplatformed by Visa or MasterCard because they're going to bend the knee. They already know they're going to bend the knee. When daddy gives them the backhand, they're going to come correct. You know what I mean? That's how it works with a lot of these guys. And then the other group of guys that are like that, these are just the people that are just supremely naive. They're like, well, daddy told me it's for my own good. You know what I mean? Like, and they just believe it. And it's like, no matter how often they're abused, it's like, but this time it's going to be different. Daddy told me so. You know what I mean? Like, this time it's going to be different. So what you've got is you've got people that already know they're going to get in line. They already know who they're serving. And then you've got people that are just so naive, it's just ridiculous, that it's just like, well, I guess it is for my own good. The mask, what do you want me to wear, 4 masks? Well, how about 5 masks? Whatever you say, you know, daddy, you're in charge. You ever watch that movie Blood In, Blood Out? It's a prison movie, and it's about the Mexican gang. And there's a time where this guy, he's like half Mexican, half white, but he wants to be in the Latino gang. But they don't want to let him in because his skin is very white. So, like, they're racist that way. You know, it's a very interesting movie, this guy Miklo. And the way that Miklo gets into the Mexican gang is he pretends to be this other white guy's, you know what, like his woman. And he ends up killing that guy. So he by what he does is he pretends to be a little bit of a sissy. He pretends to be a punk. But then he gets alone with him, and the other guy thinks he's going to get lucky, and he just stabs him in the heart kind of thing. That's how he gets into the Mexican gang. And at one point, he goes, whatever you say, Al, whatever you say, because he knows he has to convince this guy that he's his woman. You know what I mean? And so there's a certain stable of evangelicals that are like that as well. But here's the thing, guys. We're going to head into tumultuous times. There's going to be people, naysayers, that are going to say, what are you talking about? You got a persecution complex? And no, I don't got a persecution complex, but I think you have to be ready for things to not be the same, right? You need to be ready to get a lot of insane things coming. Did anyone think that there'd be a broker that would limit your ability to buy a stock that you already own, and they'll tell you all you can do is sell this stock in favor of that? Was there anyone that would have thought that could happen, especially from an app called Robinhood? Their whole thing was supposed to be about democratizing selling stocks and buying stocks, and then they just shut it down when it got too scary. You know what I mean? Like, so it's people that are like this persecution complex, they've got this normalcy bias going on. Everything's always going to be just like it's always been. And that's just not the case. So don't be a fool. Prepare for some things to change, especially if you're not willing to bow the knee and you're not willing to come correct the next time he gives you the backhand kind of thing. So here's what you got to do. You got to find a pastor that's learned his lesson. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that the COVID-19 situation, the coronavirus, when it came, it fooled a lot of us, guys. Like, there's no shame in being fooled the first time around. We heard all the news. I saw the maps with the big scary red circles that were saying how dangerous the cases were. We saw the death rates that they were selling. I remember death rates as high as like 10% they were trying to sell us. And we were all kind of fooled by that the first time around. And so I'm not telling you that you have to find a pastor that wasn't fooled the first time around, because that we can give a little grace there. Now, some pastors weren't. Some pastors were like, no, I'm not shutting down worship. What are you, nuts? Good on them, man. If you've got a pastor like that, man, get that guy's back. You stay with that guy, because that guy's gonna help you out in the coming years. What I am saying, though, is that by now, we're a year later. If your pastor hasn't learned his lesson, and God forbid, if your church is still closed, you're going to need to find a new church. It's just that simple. I don't ever say that. Ask anyone who's ever called me about what to do about their woke social justice church, and I've never recommended quitting a church without taking every step possible first. You just ask anyone who's called me, and I always say last resort, because I've left a church and I regretted it, that kind of thing. What I am saying, though, is if your pastor hasn't learned his lesson and is not willing to stand up to daddy, then you need to go find yourself another pastor, because that pastor's not going to get your back. Because all the state has to do is give him the backhand like that, and they'll turn you in. They'll turn you in. You got to find a pastor that'll get your back, man. You got to find a pastor that has a little bit of backbone. You got to find a pastor that's not going to look at you sideways when you ask him, "You know anyone that can sell me black market sausage?" You know what I mean? You know anyone that can sell me black market beef? Because I can't go to this store because I don't wear the mask or whatever. You got to find someone that's willing to do the right thing, even if government tells them not to. That won't turn your name over on a list for contract. It's for your own good. It's contract talk tracing. None of that. Anyway, find yourself a good pastor. Find yourself a pastor that loves the Lord, that knows the Word of God, but that has backbone as well. That's all I've really got to say going into the weekend. God bless you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, a good Lord's Day on Sunday, and I'll see you next week. God bless.